And this has been the subject of many debates because Kenny maintains that we were nerds and we maintain that we were cool within the very unique pond in which we were swimming. Thank you for joining us again, or thank you for joining us anew if it's your first time.
If it's your first time, I'm Kayla.
Oh yeah, I'm Kailey. We haven't met before. Nice to meet you. Well, it's another week, another rant. Actually not really this time to start off. Well, I mean, I always have questions, but now my questions are for myself and not a question about someone else's behavior. I have a question about my own behavior. And I have one for you too to see if you do this. So, let me set the scene. My question is, do you ever have rules for yourself? Like, I'll give you an example. I realized that I make up rules for myself about basically everything. For example, oh my gosh, excuse me. I think some of it stems from coming from a family where we really celebrated a lot of holidays. So a lot of things are traditions, but I realize I treat them like rules. Like I have to decorate for Christmas at a certain time and I have to put out certain decorations. And some of that's fairly normal. And then I have rules of myself of I have to work out, which has been a positive outcome because I'm probably somewhat healthy. I don't know. It at least keeps me consistent and disciplined with working out. So not necessarily negative. But the other day I was packing my lunch, and backstory, I think I have rules about I do my meal planning on Sunday or someday on the weekend and plan out my meals for the week and sort of prep out what my lunches will be, and then I shop for that stuff on the weekend because it's aggravating to me to go to the grocery store after work.
For sure.
And all of these, again, fairly normal, fairly pro-social things to do. However, I was packing my lunch and I bought blueberries as my afternoon snack. So I was putting some in a little container. And I think this was actually, I think maybe it was the evening, before I went to work the next day, because I was actually on top of the ball and I was packing my lunch ahead of time. And I was like, oh, I only have 10 blueberries left, so I can only pack 5 tomorrow because I can't get back to the grocery store because it's Wednesday and we go to the grocery store on the weekend. And I literally stopped after I had this conversation with myself and was like, what? I mean, and then it dawned on me all the rules that I have. But also for those of you who don't understand, I literally live 5 blocks from a grocery store. I mean, it'd be one thing if it was I lived 2 hours in the middle of a food desert and couldn't get to, 5 blocks. I could fucking walk
You're very
to
close.
the grocery store and get more goddamn blueberries. Instead of being I can only have this many because according to this day on Wednesdays, we don't go to the grocery store. I was making my life so much more difficult by rationing out my blueberries when I could just go get more I could have 10 blueberries for our lunch on Wednesday and go to the grocery store on Wednesday night. Or just fucking not eat blueberries every day. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm trying to rack my brain if I have any rules like that. And if you have another one, I'll let you go. But I'm just thinking if it was me, I would have just ate the rest of the blueberries and be like, okay, well, tomorrow I have to have something different. Or I have to go to the grocery store.
I'm causing myself literally so much stress. Again, some of this is helpful to be organized and to stay on top of stuff. And yes, there is value to me in not going to the grocery store after work because I find myself being far more irritated with people after work than I am on a Saturday morning where I'm just bopping around.
Yep.
But I was I have just made this whole obstacle. And I have more. I have rules about what clothes I'm allowed to wear. I don't like to wear leggings out of the house. I don't know, because apparently that's sloppy. Unless I'm working out. I can
Okay.
put them on if I'm like putting them on if I'm gonna work out later.
I
But
got
if
you.
I'm not, then I should put on jeans. And literally last night we were going to the brewery and I was like, he's like, "Are you ready to go?" And I was like, "Yeah, as long as you don't care that I wear these clothes." And he was like,
He
what are you
doesn't
talking about?"
care.
And I was like, "I'm wearing my leggings. I don't wear these outside of the house." And he was like, "You look fine, but you can change if you want." And I was like, these fucking rules, man. I don't, they're so, they've so embedded in my brain that I kind of don't even realize they're there.
That's funny because I
And
literally wear leggings to work like 3 out of 5 days a week. I dress them up, but like I can't. Yeah, that's so interesting.
I like, what did this spawn from? Probably, I know,
When did that
control.
start?
My whole life, I've always had rules. I think, honestly, it's like having a little bit of a controlling personality. And then some of it is I do make my life easier by planning, but like
Hmm.
some of this stuff is too much. And
Yeah.
like with holidays, I love Christmas and fall and October and Halloween and all of that. Like I love it. But I've always told myself I decorate because I like it. And this year was the first year that I was tired and I was like, I don't want to. And now I've backed myself into this corner of rules about what we do on holidays. And I mean, I'm going to keep harping on it, but 1 year of EMDR, and it's like I'm continuing to have these moments, which one of my other friends and I call aha moments, where you just have these weird moments of clarity where it's like,
Hmm.
that's a behavior I've had for no reason.
Hmm.
So some of this has like been an aha moment for me of my rule making for myself. And Jason and I, as part of our like New Year's resolution, or just kind of like our goal for the year, part of that is going to be to blow off Christmas and do like a vacation over Christmas. Because
Nice.
I told like literally last year, like a week before Christmas, I was like, I don't want to do this. Like I don't. But at that point, like we always host. Everybody was coming over, and I
Yeah.
do enjoy, and I'm thankful that we have the space to have our families over, and we can afford to buy dinner, and make. It's not a million people, but it's not like any big burden. But I was like, I'm not feeling it. And he was like, neither am I. And we kind of made a promise to ourselves like next year we're going to do something non-traditional and invite the family to come with us. So we're hoping we can rope them all in to go on a cruise
That would be
over
fun.
Christmas.
I
And like
love
no
that.
presents, like no
Yes.
gifts, just spend the money that you would spend on buying stuff for people to go do something together. So if we can't rope them in on that, maybe we'll try to like rent a house in the mountains or something. But
Hmm.
I don't know. Either way, we've already put all of them on notice as of like January 1st that we will not be hosting Christmas. It is canceled. We are letting ourselves off the hook
Good for
and
you.
we're doing something different. So, actually, you know what else I have a rule about? That you have to eat Super Bowl food on the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl food. Super. Like, what do you mean? Like hot dogs and things?
Like buffalo chicken dip.
Oh, I feel you.
I mean, like
It's.
Super Bowl food. And have people over, and then you have to watch the Super Bowl. And again, I love football, and I love watching the Super Bowl, and I love Super Bowl food. But yesterday, I was like, I don't have the energy to plan this whole big thing.
No.
And then I was like, literally, no one told you you had to, except for you, and you don't have to listen to yourself all the time. This has been life changing. It's embarrassing how life changing this has been. So like we grilled shrimp and had like grilled shrimp, and I mean we still had beer. That's pretty traditional. But and again I said it to Jason. I was like, I know we're not really eating Super Bowl food, and he's like, who cares?
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I do. I did. I'm working on it.
You have this whole other side of your brain that's telling you, like, pressuring you into doing what you feel like you have to do.
I have so many expectations for myself, and honestly, my therapist hit the nail on the head, not the nose on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
head.
yeah.
Jesus Christ, she hit the nail on the head when she said that because we were talking about like negative self-talk, and I was like, I don't do that. I love myself, and she's like, no, you do a higher form of that where you make these expectations for yourself, and then you like shit on yourself for not following them, and I was like, oh my god,
That's
it's
aha moment.
true. Dude, it was. And it's like now I'm continuing to have these moments where I'm like, Jesus Christ, Kailey, with the fucking rules all the time. So anyway, it's been an interesting thing to unravel. It's been very interesting to let myself off the hook and notice how good that feels. And I don't know. It's just been. I really thought everyone else operated like this. I guess not.
The only rules I've been sitting here thinking, the only rules I can think of that I do, it has probably a little bit more to do with my previous OCD tendencies. But if I'm laying in bed at the end of the night and I forget, like, did I lock the front door? And then I'm sitting there like, I did. And I'm like, I don't know. Did I? I did. Yeah, I did. But then, of course, I'm like, I have to get up and go check it. Or, like, sometimes I'm like, did I turn off the oven as I'm, like, leaving the driveway? And I'm like, fuck, I gotta drive back in and come back in and make sure I, like, turn off the oven. So I think that kind of stuff is, like, my only, like, shit, I gotta do this. Like, I can't allow myself not to do these things. But that's maybe more so, like, a OCD thing. I'm not sure.
So funny.
That's
I
crazy.
don't know. It's been very interesting.
Hey, at least you're aware of it now, so like you can like understand, like you're flexible now with Christmas. I love that idea.
I know.
That's a great
I think
idea.
I think it'll make it more special, like the following year when we do the traditional thing.
Yeah.
And we may just instill this as like an every other year ordeal. I don't know. But I just realized like part of my issue, I've always been a rule follower of like institutional rules and like a goody two shoes at school. And always trying to like, but all of that ties into like a perfection complex that's not healthy and always having to like do the most and be the best. And so I've realized all of those things are just like not sustainable or healthy patterns, and I'm continuing to find new ways where I can let myself off the hook for them. And this is just another level of that. Same with, I don't know, not like doing the biggest Christmas or like the best job hosting or letting other people host.
Yeah. I have to let go of that because I also have tendencies of control freak mode, and I'm like, just let it be. Like we did have people over for the Super Bowl, and I didn't do anything. I didn't make any food. All I did was go to the grocery store. We picked up some beer for obviously not myself but others, and some chips. And then we had everyone else bring everything else. I said, if you want to come over to our house and watch the Super Bowl, you guys can bring the food. And it worked out perfectly. And I had to do hardly anything because I turned the oven on.
I know. I'm like, it's fine, Kailey. Like, you can unclench and take a deep breath and ask people for help, and you don't have to do everything all the time. Like, there's a part of me that truly, I love cooking and I love hosting, and like, part of those things are really fun.
And you're good.
But I also like went to someone else's house who hosted like a brunch not that long ago, and Jason and I left, and I was like, this has been delightful and so relaxing, and I didn't have to prep and plan and then clean up. And just maybe like letting myself have a little more balance. But anyway, that was my question for myself for the week. And
I like that.
I don't know. I guess it's just part of my 2023 journey.
Just put a note somewhere that says like, when you said unclench, and I was thinking unclench your asshole and relax. That's what it made me think when you said unclench.
How I feel. There's just like more and more moments where I'm like, this is so much more relaxing. Like, what have I been doing my whole life? And it's control is a joke. Like, it's just something that we do to like trick ourselves into thinking we have any sort of segment of power over the chaos that's around us. I mean, we have none. And I think we just create strain for ourselves. Obviously, these aren't new ideas that I'm coming up with. People have been saying them in many civilizations since the dawn of time. But it's like the difference for me has been intellectually knowing it, because obviously a lot of those schools of thought were part of my therapy programs in my master's program, versus like feeling it in my bones where it's like settled in and I actually like feel it and know it and it's true. Instead of me just saying stuff, because I'm like real good at saying shit that sounds like professional, because it is professionally what I do. But I'm like, oh, that's why they say that, because it actually is more pleasant to live this way than to
Yeah.
sit there and think that if I like hold on to something with all of my might, that I'm going to have any chance of having any sort of say over the outcome.
I think that's what getting into your 30s is all about. You start discovering, like, oh, I don't have to do everything. There's more ways to live in this life and not stress about things. Like, you're just shedding layers of your preconceived notions as, as you were when you were younger.
It's true. And obviously, like, when we're younger, we don't know as well. And so, like, we're just trying to do what we
Yeah.
can to make things work. And that worked for me for a while, at least on some level. And there's elements of that discipline that I appreciate about myself, and it helps me be productive and get stuff done and not weigh 500 pounds and like
Yeah.
push through when something sounds shitty. That's like last week, me like going and doing my workouts despite not wanting to. But I just feel like I'm exhaling all the way for the first time, and it is
That's nice.
so much more pleasant.
I think I need a little bit of your rules. Just take all your stuff and like give me a part of it, and then you can lose some of it, and then we'll like even out a little bit. Because right now in my life, I'm like, I don't care. I'm just gonna sit back and relax. But that may also be the stage of life I'm in right now. So I don't know.
I know. I mean, it's all a balance and it ebbs and flows, and I think that's part of it too. But I think I'm auto-correcting a little bit from the overcorrection of over control, and now I'm coming back to like recalibrating. And anyway, it's nice.
I'm proud of you.
So thank you. Round 2 of our questions of our segments for the week is times we cried. So do you want to take it off with the time that you cried this week that really wasn't warranted? I mean, you're pregnant. I feel like any time you cry is appropriate, but that's okay.
I know. And it's funny because I just was telling somebody else about how I cried, and then I started crying again. So this will be the true test if I start taking third time. So obviously I'm pregnant. Me and my husband are expecting, and my aunt, who's so sweet, she's my like godmother, sent us a package in the mail, and we opened it a couple days ago, and it had like a couple books in there, like a baby blanket, like super sweet stuff, and it was just like really sweet. She didn't have to do that, but so we opened this book, and Kenny's like flipping through it, and he's like, I think I remember this book. And we're both looking at it, and I'm like, I don't remember the title. It says, or the title's like, You'll Always Be My Mother, I think is what it is. And he flipped open a page, and he turned it to me. I am going to start crying again. And it's like, the son is holding the mom, and then it all clicked. I'm like, oh no, like my mom used to read this to me, and it's so sad and so cute.
Is this the I Will Always Love You book?
Thank you. I said it wrong. So it's like the mom's taking care of the boy.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll love you forever. I'll love you for always. As long as you're living, my baby, you'll be. We gave that to Sam, too, for her baby.
Yeah, so it's like coming up everywhere. And my mom, realized.
Oh my gosh.
She read it to me. Kenny's mom, Kenny called his mom. She read it to him. And then I'm sifting through the page, and I'm just like bawling. I'm bawling. I'm like, oh my God, our child isn't even here yet. And
dude, that book is a gut, like knife to the gut.
That pulls on your heartstrings, man.
They knew what they were doing. Also, that's 1,000% an appropriate time to cry for the week, especially since you're pregnant.
That was my one time. But I also now this is the third time I've teared up about it. So
I do like that you're retelling the story is also causing the same emotional reaction.
I called my aunt to thank her.
This is good.
No, I know. And it's fine. Like, I don't care. But I called my aunt to thank her for the books. And then I was trying to tell her how special that was. And then I just, I was like, I'm sorry. I'm so emotional. And she's like, it's fine. Like, you can be. But yeah, that was our moment this week.
I love that. Well, mine's not nearly as deep or nearly as relevant. Yours is 1,000% appropriate, as I said. But obviously, we record these for everyone listening a wee bit ahead of time so that we can keep ourselves on a schedule. Because some of my rulemaking and schedule following is helpful for things. But I just got done watching the Super Bowl, not today, but it happened since we last recorded. And for anybody that was watching it, there was a commercial about a dog, and it was a chocolate lab. And I had to leave the room. I had to physically exit the room where the game was on, because it starts off with like a couple and their puppy, and they get this lab, and like it's just typical like walk of life bullshit. But I mean, Jason and I, when we got together, obviously got a dog, and he's not a chocolate lab, but it's just the puppiness. And then like the lady's pregnant. I don't know if you saw this one.
I didn't. There was too many people talking for me to be.
It's probably a good thing that you didn't, if we're being honest. But the lady gets pregnant, and then the dog's by the belly, and then she has the baby. I don't know who the commercial was for. I don't know how it ended, but the dog had a gray face, and there was the child, and I immediately exited the room. And then I was cooking dinner because I was making mac and cheese to go with our shrimp.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God, I'm losing it. And it was that when you get that lump in your throat and you start to tear up, but it like kept coming back. Because usually when it's stuff like this, I can sort of like breathe my way through it. I was like choking on my like tears.
Oh my God.
And then Jason came in the house and he looked at me, and I was like, the Super Bowl commercials got me, bro. Come back in a couple minutes.
That would have gotten me. I'm glad I didn't see it. I did not see that one, and that sounds really sad. I need to look that up almost now and watch the whole
I just can't. Old people, old dogs, families,
babies. Yeah.
love. I don't know. And I'm thinking that I think I've just been in a weird, like, not emotional in a negative way, but just like a reflective, pensive, if you will, state this last week. I don't know. Jason's 9 years older than me, and his parents had him late, so he has parents that are aging and are older than mine, and like probably most of our friend group. And then at my job, I'm working with a lot of like the geriatric population. So I think there's just been this acute sense lately. This has been going on for years, but I've just been noticing lately, like, just nothing is guaranteed and promised. And just like kind of these recurring thoughts to myself that keep coming up about, I mean, Jason and I are young and healthy, but like nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow.
Right.
Or, you know, like I worked with a woman the other day at work who had like very young, had a terminal diagnosis. And so, you know, just stuff like that where it just randomly comes up.
Yeah.
And it's not to say I'm not like living every day in fear or paranoid. Like it almost sounds negative, but it's not. I think that you're more like acutely aware of just the everyday beauty of moments in life when you recognize that those are the things that you'll cherish when somebody's gone. And it's not necessarily the big vacations. I mean, those things are great, don't get me wrong, but just sort of slowing down and trying to be appreciative and just be grateful, even in the midst of shit that I'm doing that I don't like doing. Like, I've really made a point, even when I'm complaining to myself about not wanting to work out. Like, I see so many people who physically are unhealthy or like have physical injuries and can't. And I'm like, man, I'm just really thankful that I'm even able to get up and be pissy about working out, because it's like it's an option, I guess.
That's a good perspective.
I think that's why some of this other stuff's been getting to me more. Like, it started for sure at my old job, because there's something definitely about wearing like body armor and carrying a firearm that I think just makes you aware of the fact like you could die at work. And my job was nowhere near as dangerous as like quote unquote like what I call real law enforcement. I mean, technically that's what we were qualified as, but I don't feel like it's the same level. But you know, officers that are like doing road pullovers, or like our marshals that were serving warrants. And anyway, but even still, like just that little taste for me was like, damn, I could reasonably have to make a decision that could affect whether or not I come home today at work. And then we went through COVID, and Jason's a nurse. So then I think that was like this other layer of a reminder of like, again, like weird shit can happen, and the world can totally turn on its head, and things can be upside down. Um, and obviously we were fine. But just, I think these things keep happening globally and for me, like on an individual level over the last couple of years, where I just feel things feel more and more poignant, and I feel more and more grateful that we're able to do shit like this and make a podcast and have friends, even if they don't live close, and just to like cherish memories and the stuff that matters. Which also ties into our like wanting to celebrate Christmas by making memories this year instead of just like collecting more shit.
Exactly.
And that's, I like to make like a focus of the year. So that was something that we're kind of focusing on, is like memories and not things. But I'm noticing how it's like stringing through my everyday life. And for everyone listening, we've been using this weird ass Marco Polo app with our friend group where you like send videos back and forth. It's like a group chat, but of videos. Would you,
Yep.
is that a good
Yeah,
explanation?
it's like it's literally what you said. It's just like a group chat, but instead of you texting, you're just videotaping yourself and everyone can see it. I love it. We've only been doing it for like what, a couple weeks maybe? And
Yeah.
I already feel like we've mentioned before, we've had our group chat for like over 10 years, right? And
Yeah, forever.
yeah, and that's been so nice to like be able to keep in touch with. But there's something about like hearing your voice, looking at people's mannerisms, like seeing their homes and like being like video style. I feel like already like so much closer. Like I understand now like what's really going on in everyone's lives a little bit better than just like, you know, a random text here and there.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm so grateful for that.
And I think it's like, okay, you could do stuff on social media, but this isn't social media, and there's no posting and there's no followers, and the videos are only going to our group. So it's just
Yeah.
much more
It's
real, and so that helps. That, I don't know. Anyway, so we started like randomly in there doing gratitude like posts in the morning when we send each other videos, which then got me thinking about doing it on here. Of just opening it up to y'all to say, I mean, for the next week, I think what I'll do, and if you want to, is just like do a, hey, this is what I'm thankful for post in the morning, like what we're doing with our friend group. And then in the spirit of honesty, I'll let myself be as raggedy on our social media as I am on our Marco Polo app videos.
Perfect.
But I figured I'd open it up to everybody else if everyone else wants to do like a daily gratitude with us. And this is obviously a practice that therapists recommend to people, and there's journal. I mean, this is nothing new that I'm coming up with, and I'm not cool or special for it. But I think it would be fun to do and be able to share and interact with each other on social media. And post about it, because there is just something nice about orienting yourself towards like today when I went on a run, it was cold and I was like, ugh, it's cold. But then I immediately was like, well, I have to do my gratitude post for today. And now that I think about it, I am actually kind of thankful that it's cold, because I live in Florida and it's going to be a swamp in a couple months. And just that little tilt to end it on something slightly positive. I'd rather carry around that mentality all day than like a shitty one.
Yeah, especially if you're focusing on that, especially more towards in the morning, you'll be more likely to continue that positive, like look for the bright side of things throughout the day. Because if I wake up and something happens bad and I acknowledge it and I complain about it, then it tends to happen where my day then just keeps rolling down the shit path. But you could have the same exact day, take that one little thing that was a little inconvenient in the morning and just find some kind of positive to it. And I swear 99% of the time, my day goes, instead of like this, going down, it goes up, because I've just reframed it in my brain slightly and I'm in a better state of mind all day. Because if I'm like starting off grumpy, I'm more apt to then continue to be grumpy and set off by things. But if I just switch it, then it's, it tends to go better.
I know.
So I love that. We should share that on social.
Because even if your day is shit,
What?
like you can, I said, even if your day is shit, you can still like sprinkle a little glitter on it. Just a little sparkle.
Oh yeah. There's just there's always a tiny silver lining.
It's true. And
Even
like
if the day is,
like there's beauty to just calling shit. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
but if we can say like, hey, I'm glad I at least have this pooper scooper.
Yeah.
Or I'm glad I can just recognize that this is dog shit and my days aren't like this all day every day. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like it. So join us if you will and don't if you won't, but I think it's a good
That
it's a good
rhymes
thing
so
to try and
cutely.
do.
But yeah, we'll post on our social medias, non-sexual soulmates everywhere. There's links in our show notes below too if you can't find us. But yeah, I like that idea.
Good. So join us and then we'll share next week if anybody shares with us. Share back. You can also email us. We have an email, which I think is also in our show notes, but it's nonsexualsoulmates, all one word, @gmail.com. With that, we thought we would talk about piggybacking off of last week where we talked about peeing in diapers. If this is your first time listening, I mean, you don't have to go back, but I would encourage you to go back and listen to the story about us peeing in diapers. I mean, we peed in diapers, whatever. But it's just a good, snapshot of how cool we were in high school. So, Kayla doesn't know, but I brought in a visual surprise and I'm sorry for everyone that's just listening. I will describe to you the best that I can what I'm doing. But for the YouTubers, you'll be able to see. And then anyone listening, you can always just go to YouTube and, try to find it. And we'll put this on social media too. But let me just put this on real quick.
Oh gosh. I can't wait. I'm nervous and excited at the same time. I have a feeling, I have a guess, but I could be completely wrong.
Tell me your guess.
My guess is you found somehow, it's not true, but the first thing that popped in my head was you found the outfit that you dressed up really weird as and we took photos for our photography class. And you looked like a crazy lady, but I loved it.
You're close.
Oh, okay.
Do you have a secondary guess?
No, because I can kind of see the color of it, and it's drawing a blank. Oh god. Why did this shirt bring back so many memories?
For everybody that's listening,
still have that shirt.
I don't know. Was
that from Bethesda? Which one was it
Holy shit, I think it was from Bethesda. So for everybody listening, I have this I'm going to model this again. I have this super fashionable pullover sweatshirt, probably made in, I would guess, the mid-90s. Mm-hmm. There are two, what I believe to be sparrows, perched on some type of green shrub with berries, and they are framed by some rustic twigs that form a square.
Oh my god.
Center of a dingy off-white pullover sweater. And I took my senior photos in this bad boy.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, bro.
Did?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Not all
I took my, no, my mom wouldn't let me, because she still had hope, I would do something cute and feminine one day.
Can we find them? Do you have those?
I don't know. I'm going to have to try to look for them. I have Paul McCartney hair, and I'm wearing this shirt. So, again, for everyone listening, I don't know that my depiction really did it justice, but
it's a frumpy old pullover sweatshirt that's off-white that looks really old, and I feel like I can smell it through the TV. Through the camera.
I can smell it. It's been the bottom of a cedar chest for years.
I cannot believe you still have that thing.
I can't either. 14 years later.
Oh my god,
I got
this is
my
great.
junior year of high school. So I found this bad boy, and then I was like, I can't throw this away. So it's just been sitting in this cedar chest. I've moved it through multiple homes, and I don't really hold on to stuff. I don't know. I don't hold on to a lot of memento things, but I went through a phase in high school tying all back into my thing of having this weird form of rebellion that we talked about last week. That's not drugs or drinking. It's doing things that are socially off-putting. I think was trying to be cute and cool freshman and sophomore year of high school, and back when we were children, your makeup phase in middle school and high school was horrible and ugly.
Horrid. Yep.
Thick
horrid
black eyeliner, awful. awful. Not like these cutie patooties that are on like TikTok and stuff now looking all cute. We were disgusting. So I went through that, and then I decided that people that didn't like me without makeup on didn't deserve to like me at all. So I threw all my makeup in the garbage. And then it was cool to wear, this is showing how rural our town was, but like the cool name brands were Abercrombie.
Yep.
Help me.
American Eagle.
Yeah.
Buckle.
Oh my God, I forgot about them. Hollister.
Aeropostale. Did you say that one already?
Yes, Aeropostale, or however you even pronounce it. Anyway.
Yeah.
So for those of you who didn't grow up in our time frame, like across the front of the shirt it would say like Abercrombie. It would just be like a raggedy t-shirt and just say that. And I vividly, first of all, my parents like made me buy my own clothes. So I was like, I can't go buy this like $40 shirt with my babysitting money because that's all of my babysitting money. And when you convert like hours of wiping butts to shirt numbers you can buy, it's like not worth it. So then I also got mad that you had to wear a certain shirt to be cool. And I would joke like, I'm going to go buy a shirt that says Walmart and wear a Walmart shirt every day.
I remember that.
Because I've always been a shitbag. So that somehow converted into going to the thrift store and then like intentionally buying just the most ugly ass clothes I could find. And this bird shirt, man, this shit was iconic. I straight up wore this to school like regularly.
A lot.
And I don't even think I was wearing it ironically.
No, I don't think you were either.
I think I half liked the attention, and again, I love doing things that put people off, like socially. And not like being gross or being rude, but just doing stuff that's like...
Just to push the buttons a little bit, just to push the line.
Just to be like, why? Like, why do I have to go to Abercrombie? Why can't I go to Bethesda, this really hometown thrift store that we had, and buy a shirt for $2 and wear it? And I think my parents were shaking their heads every time I left the house. But again, I wasn't doing drugs and drinking alcohol, so they just left me alone. And just like when I cut my hair and all of our guy friends were like weirdly supportive of it, everyone just sort of was like...
They embraced the strangeness. They embraced it.
And then this all fed into my theory that it's not what you wear or like what you do, it's just that you do it with confidence.
Yeah.
Like people are just attracted to the confidence that someone carries themselves with. It doesn't matter where their shit is from.
Mm-hmm.
And that became my theme for myself. And I'm so thankful I was this, like, I don't know who started this. This was not like family culture by any means. My mother was horrified. I mean, you guys were all nice to me. So it's not like I wasn't shunned. But
no,
this has never gone away. Anyway, I found this shirt a while back. I keep refinding it. Like I put it somewhere and then we move and I find it again and I put it somewhere else. And I found it like a couple years ago. And I think I lent it to my brother when he was in high school and he wore it a few times because he thought it was cool.
Well, you know the funny thing is, honestly, now you could probably give that to someone in high school and they could wear that with little short shorts, because now the thing is people wear short shorts with a long sweatshirt or t-shirt and tennis shoes. They look like they're wearing no pants, but like that's the thing. I swear to God, if you gave that to someone younger, they would actually wear it and everyone would think they were cool.
I mean, probably.
For a different reason.
It's pretty like boxy and like Gen Z.
Like, because it's cool in a weird way. Mm-hmm.
Can you guys rule in Gen Z? Can you rule in on this? Is this cool now? Did it come back? I don't know who comes after Gen Z.
I don't either.
Gen Zero? Do we start over? Is it Gen Double A?
Oh my gosh. What were you going to say?
Oh, -1. I don't know. Anyhow, this is my shirt, which segues perfectly into our discussion for today that Kenny doesn't think we're cool. Doesn't think that we were cool in high school.
Let's preface this with saying we recognize everything we just said this episode and last episode, because if you grow up in a different situation or city or school, then the things that we said may have sounded very strange and not cool. And I can acknowledge that. However, I think it goes to your point that you just said, because we weren't like trying to be cool and we kind of just
And we
were who
weren't
we were.
apologizing.
Exactly. I think that gained some respect, and like we ended up being considered cool. I don't mean popular. We've had this discussion. You can jump in and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's like the popular people who were kind of like drinking, wearing Abercrombie, like doing the thing. And then
Yeah,
there
they were
was
checking
like,
the boxes.
yeah, but we weren't there, but we were cool because we were like doing our own thing, authentic for being high school. You know, we're still trying to figure out what the fuck we're doing. But I don't know. Am I
I
spot
know.
on with that?
Yeah. I think we have got to define our terms. So when we say cool, we're not saying like other people would look at it now and be like, Danielle, we're trend setters. But it's more of a, we had like a really solid group of friends, and I feel like the majority of the people we were around like knew who we were. But essentially, I guess what we're saying is we weren't shunned and we had a big community of people.
There you go.
Because I feel
But
like there was a solid segment of like 30 of us that
yeah,
had subsections and like
hmm
factions of people underneath there, but also we could still go blend with like the drinkies.
we could. We were all over the place. I think we blended well, and I think that's why we were like we were chameleons, but we did have a core like group of people that we all got along with, and like we weren't. I don't know how to say this without being offensive. Like I don't think if I looked back, I was kind of a band nerd with Sam, but that's like
Mm-hmm.
that's different. But then like for example, in Wisconsin, I feel like show choir was slightly looked upon as kind of cool. I remember when I was a freshman and I was like, oh my God, the show choir people are so cool. Like, look at them with their fancy little dresses and like singing and dancing. And like, it's like the hype of Glee, you know, all that stuff. And then,
I think
so
too, they
we,
were really confident and they were really comfortable and they liked themselves. I think that was
yes.
part of the magnetism of them.
I was in show choir with Sam and I just thought that was so cool. But when I tell people, maybe from like Texas or somewhere else, now that years have passed, they think show choir is a little nerdy. But like to us in our segment of our culture, it wasn't, right? For the most part,
Yeah.
it was
And
probably
I think
little.
you need to like set the stage a little bit of like our high school's morals is the wrong word. Norms, our high school norms were
Hmm.
odd. Let's just say like it was cooler as a girl in our high school to play sports and like be athletic and play volleyball than to cheerlead. So like they couldn't scrounge together like a group of Raggedy Anns to hold pom poms. I mean, could not do it. And it,
It was what, like 3 or 4?
I don't know. Like, I, it was just, I just remember, and this was not the whole of our state. Like, do not go ask your Midwestern friends if this is true because it is wholeheartedly not true anywhere else. Our high school was this weird little microcosm of an anomaly. And I vividly remember when we'd go to football away games seeing Menasha's cheerleaders and that
Yes.
one girl that like hit puberty early and had big boobs and like her parents let her dye her hair blonde. That girl was beautiful.
Yeah.
And like all of the guys at our school were like, oh my God, the cheerleaders. And then our cheerleaders would come out and we're like,
Very different.
I don't even know if they had a cheer coach. I mean, they didn't even do cheers. I think they just kind of stood there. I don't know. So that's the backdrop over which we're speaking. Like the things that are traditionally looked at as cool were not in our high school. And I don't even think that partying was all that like pushed or like it wasn't like this
It
big
wasn't
deal to get
super
invited to some
mainstream.
party. No,
Yeah.
it really wasn't. Like it was to play sports and they drug tested kids and I think they I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it was like the set of the Truman Show or what it was, but I'll be damned if you try to explain this to literally anybody else in the world outside of the people that went to our high school, Kenny included. And this has been the subject of many debates because Kenny maintains that we were nerds and we maintain that we were cool within the very unique pond in which we were swimming. There were like bigger sharks,
Yes,
but
for
by
sure.
no means was I a minnow.
They
I think I was a manatee. No, so not in the food chain, not sexy, but still like kind of has its own appeal.
I agree. I agree, and I've been trying to tell him this for years, and he. Okay, we either have to go to our 20-year reunion and like we have to like prove to him this, or if some of our high school friends find this podcast, which I'm pretty sure they will, um,
I'm gonna just
if
send it to them.
if
Just tag
anyone
them
wants to
on.
comment and just like give us your
Like we
thoughts,
had friends. That's what I'm trying to say. Like
yeah,
Kenny, we
like you
had
don't have to.
friends
Yes,
and they would come over and they weren't embarrassed to be seen. I could approach anybody in my high school and they weren't going to pretend that they didn't know me and then like run away.
yes, we're not pretending like we're like the mean girls in that movie. Like we're just like the
Definitely
hottest shit
not.
because that was definitely not it. But I think the way
They
he
let us
grew
hang out with them one time though and it was really weird.
um but he was like he played basketball. Basketball was so huge at his and football. So I think it's a cultural thing, a regional thing, and that we definitely had our own little bubble in Neenah,
Yeah.
Wisconsin. But
And I also think the South, now that I live in the other version of the South, like there's like a properness and like put togetherness that does not exist
yes,
in the Midwest in the same way. Like I could not
you're
have
so right.
pulled this bird shirt shit down here. Like
No,
the
no,
Southern Belles would have literally thrown me in the dumpster from where I got this shirt. So I understand there are some like regional things that are at play here. And I am not purporting that if you removed me from our location
mm-hmm.
and then put me anywhere else in this country, that it would have been a universal effect. I still
I
maintain that
agree.
my confidence theory would have worked, but I don't
Yeah.
even think there would have been time to find confidence because I would have been shoved in a dumpster.
I agree.
But that is the debate continues and it will probably continue for time. But I think the real hallmark is that the guys that we say that we are friends with and the ladies, none of them are losers.
No,
Now,
I know. That's where exactly. That's where I feel like we can like get behind. Like we're all doing well. We've all went on good paths in our lives, and I feel like
yeah.
we had a strong,
Most
solid,
of them have spouses, so you know they
yeah,
weren't like,
crazy
gutter
or
trash. No basement dwellers.
no.
I mean, I'm probably like one of the last ones to not have kids, but I mean, went to college.
Yeah.
Most of them probably make more money than me.
Here's the other thing. I
I'm
also
not
feel
selling
like
this again. Now it sounds
I
like they
think
pitied me.
I was just gonna
These
say
were
I feel
mutual
like
friendships.
yes, but also I feel like most people that we knew and were really good friends with, they're I feel like the popular kids, if you want to categorize them, peaked in well, how do I say this? I feel like our group did not peak in high school. I think we continued on, if that makes sense. You know those people who
Yeah.
peak in high school and then it's like downhill from there? That wasn't
Mm-hmm.
us, which I'm thankful to say.
It's true. And then to be fair, I also don't know what any of those people are doing.
This is true, but I can assume via social media sometimes, not all the time.
Yeah, there's probably a few that crashed. Um,
But yeah, poor Kenny, it's gonna be a debate for the years
I
because he
know. Your
just
child is going to be in school, and then you're going to have to sit them down and be like, listen, your mom was cool. And then Kenny's going to deny it, and then you're going to try to convince them, and then you'll have to call Aunt Kailey to weigh in. But this shirt might come back.
I'm telling you, I think it already is.
I
Someone
know,
needs
but
to.
it could come back like 20, it could be 20 years again that it's cool again. I gotta save this thing at this point. It's
Please.
really a relic. I wish that it wasn't yellowing on the sleeves, but
It's really the quality on my side is not great for right now, but it doesn't look like it's the color is held up over the years.
I mean, I do truly believe that it was off-white when it was purchased.
I
It
think so
was
too.
never like a bright, shiny color. But I'm really glad that I kept it. I was literally, I think I was like going to the bathroom at work and I was like, oh my God. I still
I
have
love
the
it.
bird shirt. So I was like furiously digging through my cedar chest where I have like our spare blankets and stuff before I came on here tonight so that I could do the perfect segue as a visual surprise
I'm
to.
gonna I'm gonna need you to take a picture of you in that, and we're gonna have to post it to social media so people can comment and let us know if that would be cool or not to wear today.
Yeah, let me know if I can get away with this. Like, is this cool? I feel like it's not cool because it's boxy, but again, I feel like when I go out nowadays, all the people that are younger than me are wearing stuff that's boxy, and everyone knows I'm in my 30s because I'm wearing tight clothes. All of this I'm going to round out by saying that cool or not, our childhood slash our high school and middle school years were extremely wholesome, and I'm even though we don't see a lot of the people like our bigger group that we hung out with, I'm so thankful for all of them. And one of them has this weird memory for phone numbers and randomly calls me when they get together because my phone number is still the same. And it is heartwarming every single time. Like, I'm just so thankful we had the memories that we had. And
Yeah.
I forgot, but we also shout out to Young Life.
Yeah.
I don't
Young
know.
Life was a good core. Young Life, for those who aren't familiar, is like, how would you explain it? Like basically like a youth group, but it was how would you explain it? It was like a cool.
Definitely like a youth group, but like a non-denominational, non-affiliated youth group. So it was the
Yeah.
purpose and the point, which any of you could just go like Google them, but their purpose was to create community and acceptance under the umbrella of like yes, this is a Christian organization, but our expression of Christianity is going to be like unconditional love and acceptance, and then just like goofing off and having fun.
Yeah.
And again, it was not tied to a church. Like, it is an entity, a national, international organization unto itself. And Carly worked for them or volunteered with them for a while. So maybe sometime I can get her on to talk about them. But they just created such a good group of mentors, the people that ran it, just to have like a little bit of like an adult perspective in your life outside of your parents.
Yep.
And then,
Just it was just a different social gathering that we were able to do outside of school, where we could like continue to be ourselves, like gain more confidence, and just like hang out in a good,
and have fun.
yeah,
And they
good
always did like
solid,
stupid skits. Like,
yeah,
they did stuff that was super embarrassing for them and like just break the ice and get everybody to laugh. And then they had all these camps, like summer camps that were really cool. We'll have to talk about that some week, but like we took this great trip backpacking 7 days, like in the wilderness in Colorado. Just like neat experiences
yeah. That
that,
definitely flourished that bond I think that we had with everyone, because that was a big part of the foundation I think of it.
and I mean, it sounds dweeby as hell, but like I'm so thankful all of those experiences were without alcohol and drugs.
For sure.
Like, I mean, I know plenty of people that drank in high school and they're fine. Like,
Yeah.
but obviously there's risk associated with that too. Like, it can go good and it can go really bad. And I'm thankful to have learned early that I don't need that to interact with people and to have fun.
Yeah.
And that we bonded over just weird experiences and just goofing off. And I think that's never left.
Yeah. I love it. It was good.
Kenny, we
Childhood.
were cool.
Kenny, are you listening? Because we were cool. Kailey just said it.
Yeah, Kenny, we were cool. And everyone's going to weigh in on this debate, and they're going to tell you that from the summary of what we just said, that we were cool.
Cool is a
Except
term
for
of our little pond of coolness.
except for this one time that we'll talk about later when we passed notebooks around for notes and our guy friends found them, and did they read them out loud?
Did they find one? I thought they just made fun of
Yeah,
us.
Matt, I almost said his last name, took one. Did he eventually gave it back to us.
Yeah,
Because he was the father of the group.
He was the
But
moral compass sometimes.
yeah, one of those shit bags, I don't remember, stole it out of someone's backpack. I also don't know who is at fault for the lack of security that allowed it to be taken. I'm going to bet it was Carly.
So
And
when we do our podcast with the other our friends from high school, when we're all together, let's remember to talk more specifically about the notebooks, because that is a big realm of our high school existence that we need to touch on further.
it is. But shout out to everybody we used to hang out with in high school, all of our cool friends, because we had so many of them. Thank you for tolerating my bird shirt and my feminist rants, and we haven't even gotten started on my like period protests. There's a lot to unpack.
So much to unpack, but that's why we have every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday. So send us what was cool in your high school. Let me know what would have happened to me if I came to your high school wearing this shirt. If you're still in high school, this content might be slightly inappropriate for you, but tell me if my shirt's cool or not now. Like, do you want to borrow it? Should we like replicate this and sell it as merch? I have a lot of questions.
That thought went through my head when you were modeling it. We're gonna post this. We need to post a post on this, Kailey. So we're gonna post the picture on social media and comment on that post, please, and let's see what your thoughts are, because I'd love to hear it. Oh my gosh, social media everywhere. We are non-sexual soulmates, or we're non-sexual_soulmates. It's all in the show notes.
Yeah, you'll be able to find it. Super easy. Tell your friends. Laugh at us. Send us an email. Send me your stories. Please send us photos if you have like your own version of a bird shirt. Weird shit you used to do in high school. Tag us in your stories. I don't know.
And tell us why you're grateful. Like literally whatever. You can just like we just asked you to do a lot of things. So pick one and like
I know it's true. Pick something that resonates with you and then do it, or don't do any of it and then just like, creep in the background and watch. But everything to come full circle is that we're thankful, and we've had some gratitude in this month, and we had a weird childhood in which Kenny, we were cool, fuck you, and it comes back up to being grateful that we had a weird childhood because it made us who we are.
Ding. See how cool we are?
You see how cool we just improv this? And I wasn't even in show choir, y'all.
You should have been.
Bruh, no, I shouldn't have. We'll tell them about how good I am at dancing in a different episode.
Oh, please. Oh, Kailey, this has been fun. You're funny.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Tune in next week. Tune in Tuesdays.
Tune in Tuesdays for chats and laughs with Kayla and Kailey.
Until next time, my friend.
Goodbye. Love you. Goodbye.
Okay, love you. Bye.